How confident are you in your skills that you can tell whether something is growth or decay? Pretty confident? So I got 3 parts of the lesson today. You ready for the first part? Okay. Here's the first part. Is this growth or decay? How do you know? Oops. Is this growth or decay? How do you know? Okay, that's the first part of the lesson. Got it? Ready for the second part of the lesson? You got these 3 written down? Growth or decay? How do you know? It's less than 1 and greater than 0. Everybody okay with that? Growth or decay? How do you know? Now when you say it, what do you mean by it? Can you be more specific? What is greater than 1? The base, right? The base is greater than 1. Does that make sense? All right, is this one growth or decay? But it's a fraction.
Greater than 1.
Ah, good. Okay? That's the second part of the lesson. Feeling pretty confident so far? Good. The last part of the lesson's a little bit more involved, but no reason to panic. For the record, when it's time to panic, I promise I'll tell you. But what's rule number 1? Don't panic. That says y equals a times 2 raised to the t over 4 power. Okay? You okay so far? All right. So what we have to do is decide if it's growth or decay. Now, there's always somebody who, at the beginning of this, gets very distracted by the A. Well, don't you have to know what the A is to decide if it's growth or decay? What do we have to know? The base. Is A the base? No. Do we care what A is? No. It doesn't matter what number I put in for A. It doesn't matter. It could be literally any number. It's not going to determine whether it's growth or decay. That's just a multiplier in the front. Everybody okay with that? So don't get distracted by the A first of all. Okay? Second of all, I look at the base, right? Well, it seems like it should be what? Growth, because why? Because it's greater than 1. But what's wrong? The exponent has something else in it besides just the variable, right? So I can't go on and decide for sure growth and decay until I get that number out of the variable. Well, we have to remember some exponent rules. You guys have your exponent foldable? I'm going to get it out real quick. Got your exponent foldable?
Yeah.
Can I fix something on yours real quick? I'm going to fix that m and make it an exponent. Can't really see hers very well because it's in pencil. Can you say that okay? A raised to the m power raised to the n is the same as a to the m times n. So if I'm here already, can I go backwards to this? Right? The example said x to the 2 x squared raised to the third power, and we said it was x to the sixth. If I start with x to the sixth, can I separate it back to here? Are those two things still equal? Yeah. So what if I took this? What should I separate this exponent into? If I want to get the number away from the variable, what do I want to separate it into? Two raised to what power? 4 is a good start, but where is that 4? It's in the denominator of a fraction, so what's in the numerator? The 1, right? So can I raise it 2 to the 1/4 power? And then raise that to the t? Do you know what 2 to the 1/4 power is? You do?
I don't know it.
You don't, right? So what could you do to figure it out? Oh yeah, why don't you do it? You all have your calculator out, yes? So 2 raised to the 1/4 power. That's what I got. Did you get that? Something similar? Where do we usually go when it's time to round? To the thousandth, right? To 3 places. 3 places is almost always safe. Today, I want to be very clear. Today, we're going to the 100th. What does that mean? 2 decimal places, right? So what should I write then as my answer for this? Y equals A times 1.19. And how did you decide it was 1.19 when that very clearly is an 8?
Because that 9 is bigger than 5.
You look at the third decimal place and say it one more time.
It was bigger than 5.
We knew that 9 was greater than 5, so that pushes this number up one more. Right? Does everybody understand that? I don't want to talk to you like you're stupid, because you're definitely not. But I don't want to also just assume everyone knows how to round, because I did that earlier and it was not good. Everybody knows how to round, right? If this said 1.182, what would I write down right here? 1.18. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So now can you tell me if it's growth or decay? For sure it's growth. It was a guess up here. Now you know for sure. But here's the thing. Not only do I need you to know if it's growth or decay, I need you to know at what rate it's growing or decaying. Well, there's no reason to panic about that, because again, rule number 1 is don't panic. Because what I can do is I can rewrite this into this form. This is the form that'll tell me the rate of growth. So what am I going to write? 1 plus what? 1 plus what equals 1.19? 0.19. I know that seems silly. I also don't care. Because now you can tell me, first of all, that it is growth. And you can tell me at what rate it's growing. Can you tell me what rate it's growing at? Oh, see, that's a decimal, though. Is that how we normally talk about rates? How do we normally talk about rates? Percents. So what am I gonna write? And how did we get from the decimal to the percent? And do not say anything about moving, like you're some sort of magician moving decimal places. What's the math that we're doing? Multiplying by 100. Very good. We took 0.19 and multiplied it by 100 and got 19. So we started with this problem. These are the steps we did. I got down here, I looked at it, I know its growth, and I know it's growing by 19%. Does that make sense? Then do this one for me. Y equals A times 2/3 to the 5t power. So first of all, how do we want to rewrite it? Y equals A times what? 2/3 to what power? 5 to what power? T. Does everybody understand how I got there? Very good. Okay. Now what? Now what do I do? All right. Are you going to be smarter than the calculator? I mean that respectfully. If you're going to be smarter than the calculator, you're not going to put in 2/3 raised to the 5th power, because it's going to be a jerk and tell you at a fraction. What you're going to do is you're going to say 2/3 decimal raised to the 5th power. Because as soon as you put a decimal in the problem, it knows to go to a decimal as your answer. Does that make sense? Are there other ways to make this fraction become a decimal? Yes, this is the fastest way though. If you want to know other ways, I'll be happy to show you other ways. Okay, that's the fastest though, is to put, could I put 2 decimal divided by 3 raised to the 5th? Yes. Don't put 2 over 3 raised to the 5th decimal. I don't know if that works. That's weird. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. There's a lot of places to put decimals, right? Just put them in a logical place to you. So what am I going to write right now? What does this equal? 0.13, right? So y equals A times 0.13 to the t power. Is that growth or decay? How do you know it's decay? Can I write that as 1 plus something? No, I can't. So I have to go the other way. 1 minus something. If I truly want to find out the rate, I have to rewrite this as 1 minus something. Is R 0.13? No, 0.13 has to be 1 minus something. Does that make sense? So what does R have to be for this answer to also simplify to 0.13? 1 minus what equals 0.13? Okay, and how did you figure that out? Oh, so like in your calculator, you just did 1 minus that number right there to get that number right there? Perfect. So you already told me this was growth or decay? Decay. And by what rate is it decaying? 87%, right? Not 13%, even though it seems like it should be 13%, but I have to rewrite it like this to know what that rate is. It has to be either 1 plus something or 1 minus something. That's why I asked you right here if you thought it was growth or decay, right? Here you told me it was growth, so I knew I needed to write 1 plus something. Here we said decay, so I knew I had to write it 1 minus something to be able to find out the rate. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions? How confident are you at looking at a graph and telling if it's growth or decay? That's like 3 thumbs up. You don't even have 3 thumbs. So good, okay? How confident are you looking at an equation like this and telling if it's growth or decay? And why is this so easy? Right? There's nothing else in the exponent, right? There's no multiplier in the exponent, is there? Okay? How comfortable are you with this? First of all, telling if it's growth or decay, and second of all, telling the rate. That's just 1 thumbs up? Okay, I'm still okay with 1 thumbs up. Yeah? Any questions?